I think it has been a conscious decision because we've always, Nigel's spoken from last season that he wanted a smaller squad. And if you're going to have a smaller squad, you've got to have adaptable players. You can't have, if you're going to have a squad of 20 players, for example, they can't be players that play in one position and they just do that job. Because as you've seen, there's going to be times when you're going to have injuries and suspensions, and somebody's maybe going to have to do a job that, they haven't done a lot of in their career. But as you say, I think touching on Zach Bradshaw, he can play centre half, left back, left wing. I'm guessing he could play right back if he needed to. He looks like he could pretty much slot in. He looks like he could do a Leo Connor job and go and sit in the centre of the park if you needed him to. So I think he's been a really good addition because he's sort of filled in where we've needed him at any moment, which I think is a good type of player to have, somebody like that. So I definitely think it was a conscious effort from Nigel to bring in those type of players. And yeah, like I say, we have had an injury crisis. There's been a couple of games where we haven't been able to fill our bench. So we have had that injury crisis. It's always a worry when you have a small squad that might happen. And it happened sort of from day one for us. We've slowly got players coming back. So hopefully we're over the worst of it now. And players like Morris and guys like that can slowly come back. But as I say, yeah, I think it will have been a conscious effort from Nigel. And I've got to say, the players that have played numerous positions, I don't really think one of them has looked out of place. As I say, I've been so impressed with Brad Walker at centre half that I would be an advocate for him staying there because I just think the calmness that he brings to the back four, both on the ball and off the ball. I think he's a good organiser. He's good in the air. I've loved watching him play there, to be honest. Being able to play out from the back, I think, has been a big thing for us. Not having to sort of hoof the ball up the pitch every time we get a goal kick or, the goalkeeper's got the ball in his hands. Having somebody that can naturally play out from the back, I think, has really helped us. So, these players playing in these different positions have really, really impressed me. And I think is a lot down to, how the positive start we've had to the season. So, yeah, like I say, it's I've been very impressed with the players that have come in and played those number of positions.
And a bit more on Bradshaw, just because you mentioned him there, rightfully praising him. I think fair to say we haven't quite seen him get fully going this season yet because he's had a couple of injury issues and also because he has been used in so many different positions. But I think when he arrived, I certainly didn't quite, and maybe others would concur, appreciate just how valuable a signing he could be. You just looked at him and thought, oh, he's a backup left back. But actually, he's much more than that. And he looks like he can really challenge Connor Wood to be that right left back on a permanent basis. He's a very different kind of left back, I think, to Connor Wood, which may sound odd to say, but you do get different kinds of fullbacks. As we've seen, you get fullbacks who are very dependable and resilient, like a Leo Connor, or you get, if we hark back into the past, fullbacks who can absolutely fly forward and have loads of pace and can create chances for you, like a Ryan Taylor or a Zumana Bakayoko or someone like that. So he's a different kind of fullback, Bradshaw, to the steadiness of Wood. And I didn't certainly appreciate just how much value he could bring to the team when he arrived.
No, but I mean, for me, I was surprised when Connor Wood signed. Maybe I potentially thought he might be one of the players to leave. And he wasn't a player for me that had cemented his place in our starting 11. I thought last year, at times he looked very good. And I thought at times he looked a bit off it and a little bit vulnerable down that side. So I think bringing somebody in was probably a shrewd move from Nigel in terms of somebody to challenge him and really push him. Because I think we're in a situation now where maybe, if Connor Wood wasn't performing, he could find himself out the team and Zach Bradshaw could come in and take his place. So I think having that competition in that position is good. And, as you say, there's sort of different types of players. So horses for courses. There might be a game that Nigel looks at and thinks, do you know what? I really fancy Zach Bradshaw in there for this game because that's, to use a Mickey Mellon quote, that's going to answer the questions that the game's going to ask of them. Or it might be that he looks at it and thinks Connor Wood. So I think having that, like I say, that's a position. You look at the right side with Cameron Norman. I'm perfectly happy that he starts every game, that he's fit and available because I've been really impressed with him. And I think we touched on last time I was on, we were excited about his sign and we thought he would be a really good acquisition. And I think his performances have sort of proven that. So you're quite comfortable on that side. Whereas I think, like I say, with someone like Connor Wood, you might just want to sort of have a backup because consistency for me wasn't his strong suit last season. But yeah, we like I say, we have that option now. And I've got to say, when Connor Wood's played this season, he's been very good. And when Zach Bradshaw's come in, he's been good as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the options we have down that side.